Hey guys, what's up? It's me again. Just wanted to do a quick preface to this video. If you're looking for a full-on install, like step-by-step, following the instructions kind of thing, this might not be the video for you. What I decided to do, based on my filming setup, based on, we were kind of cramped in the driveway a little bit, just a quick overview of some of the cinematics in installing the Teraflex lift. And then at the end, I'm going to do a suspension driving comparison for you, because I'm expecting a little bit of a change with the bigger springs up front. So hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah, sit back and enjoy. Good morning, guys. I'm here at my buddy Dave's house. He's hiding back there. Here's Ford. Say hi, Ford. Today we're installing the Teraflex 2.5 spacer spring something on the Jeep. I'll try and do an install video for you and give you some updates as we go. Let's do this. All right, while we wait for these cars to pass, I guess I can open this up and say, welcome to my suspension review. So I not so recently, installed the Teraflex 2.5 inch, I think it's called spring and spacer lift with the shock extensions on my 2021 Jeep Gladiator Rubicon. So I am basing this off of the Rubicon suspension in this comparison. And I think the first thing I noticed when I had bought the Gladiator about a year and a half ago, on my way home from the dealership up in wherever it was, Michigan or something like that, is the sway with the wind and the way it reacts to wind on the highway and drafts from trucks and things like that. I was driving it home and I was all over the road. I was honestly a little bit scared because I just bought a, what was it, $60,000 truck, and oh my god, I can't drive it in a straight line. I learned to live with it. I learned to drive it the way it needs to be driven. I learned that, it's a lofty, tall, wiggly off-roader, and it's not necessarily going to act like a sports car. I'm basing it off of my previous car, which was a 2014 Cherokee. And then so that's where we were. That's where the truck started about, I want to say 2 to 3 weeks ago now. So I have done some miles. I went to Overland Expo East 2 to 3 weeks ago. I did the install, and I guess just talking you through the whole process, super easy. I mean, super if you have any level of mechanical, technical skill, you should be able to do it. You and a friend in a pretty reasonable amount of time. The installation instructions say it's going to take about 5 hours. My buddy and I, we finished in about 2. We were planning on getting lunch and everything, and lunch arrived after we had already wrapped the tools up. So super easy install. In a nutshell, you're undoing the track bar and you're just taking out the front spring, lowering everything down. A couple of clips you gotta disconnect, some wiring harnesses and things like that, and you're good to go. You put the springs in. On the back, you're just adding a spacer in, and in my case, the shock relocation bracket, which is 2 extra bolts, and you're good to go. And my first impression, as soon as I left his driveway, was, wow, this is stiff. And stiff in a good way. It didn't feel like, you know, you're driving on gravel and getting shaken to bits. It was stiff as in, I don't feel like I'm gonna flip my car over anymore, which is a pretty good feeling. The spring itself has, I don't know what the technical term for it, but it has the really narrow section of coil and then the larger section to absorb the larger hits. So it rides very comfortable. Honestly, I'm not going to say a sports car, but it feels, compared to the original front springs, it feels like a sports car. And you know, I'm taking this turn right now, 35. I could probably do it comfortably at 40, and I'd be totally okay before. I've done this road. It's a very curvy road up on the coast of Long Island, and I'd be happy at 25, 30 max. So that right there tells you the driving improvement. We did flex it out, but we did realize that we're not really changing too much in the suspension, so everything was the same as before. But in terms of just sheer driving feel, this feels so much better than it did before. It's like a night and day difference. I've driven this now for, I think I said 3 weeks, give or take, on the highway, and long distance I've probably put about 1,000, 2,000 miles on it somehow that quickly, and it's amazing. I mean, you can see right now I'm on a relatively bumpy concrete road, and it's soaking it up. You know, the Gladiators do like to bounce a little bit when you're on loop-to-loop roads like this, but I'm doing a pretty good job. I don't know if you can tell, the camera's probably shaking because of the jerry-rig tripod I've got in the corner there, but feels comfortable, rides smooth, doesn't hit the bump stops, any of that. Oh, that's another thing I missed. In the kit that you get, there's a bump stop extension bracket or something they call it, bump stop plate. That's one other thing you get to install on the rear. So super easy, super quick. I'm loving this lift, and I actually picked it up for, it was under 500. I'm gonna say it's like $450, $470 at the Smoky Mountain Jeep Invasion out in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, a couple weeks back. I spoke to the guys at Teraflex for like 45 minutes trying to figure it out, and at the end of the day decided on this lift because I'm an overlander. I'm not rock crawling this thing. I built it A, to carry camping gear, to carry my tent, my bed rack, all that kind of stuff, and B, to get me to a campsite where maybe, you know, your Toyota Camry or your minivan isn't gonna go, you know, or any other, you know, low 4x4. I've got the capability if and when I need it, but I am not by any means pushing the limits of what this vehicle can do. And to be honest, it has surprised me at every step of the way. I'm currently running still my factory 33, I want to say they're Falcon mud terrain tires. Love them. I mean, my mileage is not so great. Didn't buy it for that. I know people are going to complain that I said that, but it's great. I've been driving this through 1.5 foot of snow drift. I've been driving it on the beach out in Long Island. I've taken it out to North Carolina, Uwharrie National Park, National Forest, whatever it's called, and it's been amazing. The only issue I've ever had with this car is the fact that it's too low for its length. You know, I think it's 2.5 inch lift and 35-inch tires are perfect on maybe a Wrangler. That being said, I've never owned a Wrangler. I did consider it until I saw how much space there is in the trunk. But being as long as this is with this wheelbase, come on buddy, come on. I found myself bellying out on every single bump in the road at Uwharrie on an easy trail. And back then it was my first time off-roading, and I was alone, so I didn't really want to push the limits too much. I think this 2.5 inch lift is going to pair perfectly with my 37-inch tires, which I'm working on getting. I think for the next couple of weeks or months, I'm probably going to run my stock 33s. Looks a little funny, but there's a lot of meat on them, and I got some big things coming, so I don't really want to blow the money on tires right now. Unless you work for a tire company and have some tires you want me to try out, that would be cool. but I don't blame you if you don't. All right, what else can we get into? Sorry, I'm just driving by. Possibly, let's say top 3 favorite spots in Long Island. Right now I'm up in Sea Cliff by the water here, and they've got a couple spots where you can park up, and usually bring a friend and bring some snacks and just hang out here at sunset. It's the perfect view with, I think that's Connecticut or something in the background. Really nice spot. But nonetheless, back to the drive and feel. Yeah, I'm absolutely loving it for the price, for the things that I'm doing with my truck, and the things that I honestly think most people are doing with their trucks. You can go fancy, you can spend a lot of money. My guy from Teraflex was telling me is this is a good starter kit. If I want to add shocks next year, I can do that. But right now, I've got a lifted Gladiator for under $500, and for me, you know, I'm 25, I'm trying to buy a house and got a lot of other things I need to spend my money on right now. Saving a little bit of cash on the lift kit was a big win. So if you're in that same bucket, if you're kind of a budget builder, or even if you're not, consider this lift. You know, if you want to go fancy, go for it, but there is definitely no need to with what I'm doing. You know, I do think my rear springs are starting to be a problem. I went on 2 trips the last 2 weekends, and both times my truck's sitting like this, you know, completely squatted out. So I'm gonna try getting some airbags on Amazon where I can adjust the pressure depending how much weight I've got back there. But part of me is feeling like I want to get an HD spring, heavy duty spring for the rear, possibly another 1/2 inch of lift in the rear. Might need to do a shock relocation bracket on that though, so I have to do a little bit of research there. But that's a problem for the winter. I think for now it'll last, it'll work, it's running perfectly. Didn't have to do any realignment of the wheels or anything because of how simple the install was, so we're good. I'm loving it, I'm happy, and I hope you guys love it too. Stay tuned on Instagram at Eastern Overland Inc. I'm going to be posting some really cool content. I have partnered up with Go Mammoth for some really cool stuff in about 2-3 weeks, so stay tuned. I'm excited, I'm really excited for what's to come, and I appreciate the support. Like, subscribe, whatever else you can do on here, and I'll see you guys at the next one. Thank you.